tell you that life is not a straight line. I thought that it was when I was young. I thought that you traveled on this road, you made your choices, you made the right choices, and you moved forward. But what I've learned is that life is a journey, and we have choices that we make, and sometimes we make choices that feel like the wrong choice. Sometimes we feel like we've drastically failed and that we will not be able to recuperate. But that actually, that's how life is set up. That we're navigating through this fog of life. And it's really just more important that you're prepared and that you move forward and you don't let yourself get stalled. You're present in your life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about growing up. So I went to a Catholic school when I was a little kid. And as I got to 8th grade, I felt a lot of pressure to get into the correct high school. I had to go to this Catholic high school. I grew up in San Jose. So we had to take entrance exams and we had interviews. And I felt a lot of pressure. I thought that if I didn't get into that right Catholic high school, I wouldn't get into the right college, and I would be a failure. My life would, be over. So I studied, I got into the right high school, and I went for my first couple of years and did well. And then we moved. My mom got remarried. We moved to a small town in Northern California, and I wasn't able to take those college prep classes in my junior and senior years that I had planned on taking in order to get into the right college. But I went to school, I graduated from high school and applied to the universities that I wanted to go to. And what do you know, I got into all three, even though I wasn't at that perfect right high school that I thought I had to go to. So I graduated, I went to college. And my first year, I was pretty happy. And then my second year, I wasn't. I was very unhappy. But I had been taught throughout life that you start what you finish, you join a sports team, you finish, you don't give up. So I thought that I had to stay. As my sophomore year went on, and I grew more and more unhappy, I realized that I needed to leave, I needed to try something new. So I took a leave of absence, which ended up I kind of quit school. My parents were not happy about this fact, but I did it. And I went and lived with my grandparents. I worked some temp jobs, got an office job, did some different things, and realized that I really did want to be in college. I wanted to go back to school. I just didn't want to go. I was going to University of Santa Clara. I just didn't like it there. So I ended up making the move to Chico State. And Chico had not been a place that was even on my radar when I was in high school. It wasn't particularly impressive to me. It was a place that it ended up that's where I landed. So I didn't have high expectations. Kind of went, and I had learned that if it wasn't happy there, that I could go somewhere else. But what happened was, it was awesome. I loved it. I loved my professors. I loved my friends. It was a really awesome, lots of nature around. It was a fun college town. And what happened was, because I had quit school and gotten off of the track of 4 years, I knew that it was going to take me some extra time. It gave me the opportunity to just try some new things and take classes that, I wouldn't have had time to take. So I had been a political science major, and then I started taking classes in child development and things like that. I loved it. It was the right choice. And it wasn't the first choice. So a failure, what I saw as a failure at Santa Clara had turned into really success and happiness at this new school. So then, I graduated from college. I had planned on going to law school. And I realized my senior year that that's really not what I wanted to do. So again, I was met with this decision. What do I do? I graduated and I thought, well, I've got a degree in international relations. So I went into international trade. I worked, I did import-export for a few years. And after working for a couple of years in this field, I realized it wasn't very fulfilling and I needed to try something different. And I really was at a crossroads. I didn't know what that was going to be. And then I recalled I have a lot of relatives, my mom, and a lot of people in my family who are educators. And I hadn't really thought seriously about becoming a teacher, but I started contemplating going back to school and getting my teaching credential. So that's what I did. Went back to school, got my teaching credential. I student taught here in Daly City, and it was awesome. I loved my classes that I had taken to get my credential. I loved student teaching. I was really happy with this change. And I got my first job after getting my credential, and I taught for a year, and I felt like I was going to change the world, and it was going to be so awesome, and then it wasn't. I didn't feel like I didn't feel successful at teaching, and I thought I have made another error. So at the end of that year, I resigned, and I went and worked for my dad for a little while and just made a change and thought about what I wanted to do. And at the end of that year, I thought, okay, I really loved student teaching at the school that I was at in Daly City. I really loved it. So if I can get a job there, I'll go back and I'll give this teaching thing another try. So I did. I got a job at Panorama School, Daly City, and I don't know if you've ever had the experience of something just feeling so right. It clicked. I think I taught 6th grade when I went back, that second year of teaching. It clicked. I loved the kids, I loved my colleagues, I loved my school, and I felt like I was really having an impact. Little did I know, now that I've been in education for a long time, every new teacher, it's really hard your first year of teaching. It takes a while to feel like you're actually doing, really good at it. Didn't know that then. But I came to find out that it was, I've had a career in education that I feel just really so blessed. It's fulfilling, and it all clicked. But it was after a series of kind of, maybe disappointments or wrong turns. So things that I perceived as failures, I think I clicked it without even realizing. Things that I perceived as failures led to new opportunities. So in life, we think we need to be on this path and make all of these right choices. And then when we don't get the job that we want, or a relationship that we are in ends, or we have disappointments. We try really hard for something and we don't get it. Graduate school. I applied, I wanted to get my master's degree, and I applied to Cal, and I didn't get in the first time. I could have stopped and said, well, it's not for me, I guess I can't get my master's. But instead, I reapplied the following year, and I applied to Cal and Stanford, and I got in. I could have also thought, well, I went to Chico State, they're not gonna take me because I went to a state school. But instead, I tried again. I had some perseverance, and then I got in. So I had a new opportunity. I think it's really easy for us to think that if we are not on a straight path and successful at every turn, that we are going to fail and be unhappy at life. I have the pleasure of working in our high school district and talking to students quite a bit. a son who is 16 and looking at college. And what I want you students to know is that there's not one right choice. There's just choices. And you may even make a choice that you think is the right choice, and it turns out that maybe something else is waiting for you that's going to be better for you. So that pressure that we feel, take a deep breath and lighten up. You know, the pressure is, I think, not always helpful. So I want to leave you with this idea that we need to trust our journey. Life is not a straight path. There are twists and turns, and there are unexpected things that happen, but we just need to keep moving forward, show grace to ourselves, show up. Certainly keep showing up and be prepared. And you will find that life, that you will end up where you're supposed to be, hopefully with a happy and fulfilled life. Thank you.